Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday!
How are you?
I'm really good. Oh my god, I missed last week so much. It's
Me
so
too.
so good to be back.
Me
It's so
too. I agree.
it's a regular thing now and I feel it's part of our DNA now.
I know, right? It's so weird if we don't do it. I feel like it's like missing out of my life.
Letting people down, come on.
So, hi to everyone that is joining us this afternoon. We are so glad to be back with you for another episode of Brand Experience Live. This week's a really special one, which we're going to start doing more often.
Yes.
But this week is so special because a few days ago, I posted a poll on my LinkedIn profile asking you all, based on conversations that Lagla and I have had with you all in the last couple of weeks, we narrowed down 4 areas that we get the most questions
Yes.
about on our podcast interviews afterwards, just throughout us posting content. And we wanted to give you the opportunity to vote on what you want to talk about. And I think that is really the most important thing. And probably the greatest thing that we can do for you is give you exactly what you want.
Exactly. As you remember, it's about give, give, give.
Yeah, it's about giving. So this week, it was interesting because the poll came like right out of the gates with people voting for influencer marketing, and
Ooh,
there was like almost zero on anything else. And then within like 36 hours, all of a sudden, I opened up the poll, and it was just like, whoo, personal and company brand.
perfect.
So, this week we're going to be talking about personal and company brand. We're answering specific questions that you have that you sent to us and that you can continue to send us in the comments and in our DMs. But we're going to answer 7 questions today that we identified in terms of building your personal and company brand. We're tying them together because a lot of them do go hand in hand. And a lot of the individuals who ask these questions are smaller business owners and
Mm.
solopreneurs. So they really do tie in together. So without further ado, by the way, my name's Ashley Pidela, in case no one knows me. And it's so nice to meet you. And I'm joined, just as I am every week, by my business partner and amazing co-host, Lagala Mike.
Hello, Ashley, and hello, everyone. And so good to be back. And what a great intro. This week has been super exciting for us because we kind of got so excited about that poll. And we just said, okay,
Yeah.
let's go out there and see what our audience really wants to hear. And let's go and solve the problems together, because we are
Yes.
facing the same things every day. So why don't we do it all together as a community
Yeah.
and as a group? I love
Yeah.
it. So it doesn't mean if we don't cover the poll questions today, we're gonna come back to that, another week. So it's gonna be lots of content and topic around these interesting
Yes.
subjects.
Yeah. And even anything that we don't cover or that we do cover, Lagla and I are creating individual pieces of content on those
Yes.
specific questions on our TikToks and on our LinkedIn accounts. So make sure to follow us on TikTok. I'm going to be putting a link in the comments in a little bit, and Lagla will as well. And then, of course,
Mhm.
coming back to LinkedIn. So even if they're not answered today, they will be answered. Promise you.
Yes, and if not, then not just, TM us. So, but yeah, let's get started because I'm super excited. So, I have my notes here from the questions. So,
Yes,
thank you, whoever you was, to send our first questions because I don't have a name at the moment behind it. Ashley, you probably know.
I
But
do.
the question is from the person: I have a lot of success in my business and career, and once I finally get the prospect on the phone, I can close a sale. Well done. Woohoo!
Yeah.
But what I struggle with is having a hard time targeting the right people in the
Mm,
first place.
mm,
Mhm.
yeah.
It's if it's not from a referral, I guess it's easier because if you do through referral, you already kind of know the background. How
Yeah.
do I? So the question is, how do I know what about my experience I should share to get them interested upfront?
And this is
Great
such a
question.
good question. Oh my gosh. I feel like everyone struggles with this in the
Yeah,
beginning, right?
yeah.
Like you're like, oh, I'm so great at all these things and I've had all these successes and I know how to do things. But the problem is if you can't communicate it, and you and I are going through this, right? Like just
It's
We're building
so
in public.
yeah. And honestly, like I can completely to relate to it because in my head, it's there. But
Yeah.
when you need to kind of put it out there, I can relate to this person so well.
Yeah.
Then I just actually say, Ashley, all these things kind of verbal, blah, 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 and Ashley says, here you go. It's there. And I'm like, where? And then
That
just
was
start to write.
it.
That was it, So we can completely relate to you, and we will be obviously a support. And what do you think, Ashley? What is a good answer to this question? How do you see that?
I mean, for
I'm gonna
me,
challenge you. I'm challenging you.
for me, the answer to this question is insanely obvious only because I've been through this over 100 times with past clients is the way that you know where to start in terms of targeting the right people who are going to come to you is creating a brand strategy.
Yeah.
That's for me just like the simplest answer. Create a brand strategy.
For me, I wanted to say is, and it's coming through brand strategy, is a clarity. It's
Yes.
what I want to obviously achieve and what is a goal. And obviously, I need to be super clear about it. And how I'm
Yes.
going to do it, I have to build brand strategy. So,
You are so right. And so talking about like what is brand strategy in the
we
first
do,
place?
yeah, we do have actually, it's kind of relates to it. We have a question here straight away as well. When should I create then brand strategy? We're going to go through
Yeah.
that as well.
Yeah. No, and that's that I think is like y'all, these questions that we got were like perfect.
Okay.
um, but talking about brand strategy in general, right? Brand strategy in a nutshell is who you are, what your story is, the mission, the why, the purpose, and providing clarity through creating that brand strategy so that you can properly target your ideal customer profile and the audiences that you're looking to speak with.
Yeah.
So this basically takes like all of these amazing, cool dreams and goals and puts it together in an actionable story for how you're going to be able to solve the problems that you're looking to solve.
Yeah.
In a nutshell.
Exactly. No, it's so true. And where are we gonna add that spice, because actually brand strategy has been there forever.
Yeah.
But obviously we're gonna add a little bit spice because we are all different. And in
Yes.
our head, we create different concepts. So we're gonna
Yeah.
follow usually like it's a marketing plan or anything, but we follow the framework, but we're gonna be very authentic. And this is where your personal strengths and
Yes.
skills and experience comes and plays a big huge role.
Yes.
So
Yes.
and
I
you need to
love I
yeah.
love really quick that you said, right, we're going to create all these things by starting with authenticity. Can we just talk about our company name for a second?
Yes.
So, the story behind, and I made a video on this and I haven't posted yet, but our business name is Ivory Gold. And the whole purpose of the name behind Ivory Gold is that when you look at the color meanings, right, the definitions of those colors, what they represent in brand, ivory is very pure and authentic, and
Yeah.
gold represents money, right? So ivory gold represents us, Lagla and Ashley, taking your authentic purpose, mission, problem that you want to solve, who you are, your personality, and turning it into actionable steps that drive revenue long term. So
Yeah.
that was just like such a good plug
I
and
know.
opportunity.
I know. Here you go. I love it. You actually matched the nails to ivory
Oh,
starch,
yeah.
obviously that hot pink. And then I kind of matched the jacket to the
You
D part. And it wasn't planned at all. It's just like that's how we actually can create this authenticity. I can't even say that word. That's why I'm so authentic. I can't even say it.
Oh,
But
that's
that's
your
how you can
language
create.
barrier.
Yes, yes. But that's how we can create that something quirky, spicy about us and showing up
Yeah.
because we can relate to it to the
Yeah.
brand now as well, with our colors.
Yeah. And okay, so getting back on track. When should I create a brand strategy? Y'all, you
Straight
should
away.
create, yeah, the very beginning. So if you are in business, right, you're looking to drive revenue, whether it's for you as a person or you as a business, if your goal is to drive revenue, it needs to start with a business strategy first, because the brand strategy is built off of those revenue
Mm.
goals and growth goals that come from the business strategy. So technically, it should be second in command to your business strategy if your goal is to drive revenue. But I would say that regardless of if you're driving revenue, or for example, you're looking for speaking opportunities or keynote opportunities, or you want to be a guest on podcasts, or you're looking for a new job, really you need to identify what your end goal is
Yes.
first. And then as soon as you have that goal, that result that you're looking to achieve, then you create your brand strategy.
Yeah. No, it's and it's important. Like we covered before, it's a vision and where you want to go. So you need to
Yeah.
have directions. So that's
Yeah.
why this is a guidance. It's like a Bible. It's a Bible. You take
It
it in your
is.
hand. If you get a little bit lost, and I believe actually very often we create these documents, either it's a brand strategy, business plan, marketing plan, anything. And I think this was actually a topic as well. We once said no one ever checks it again. Once
Yeah.
it's done. But I would always go back and go back and check. Okay, where I am at the moment. Am I actually even on a track, or what's
Yes.
going on? Do I
Yes.
actually follow what I said? Because I think it's good to go back and really just make sure you actually hit the notes yourself. So
It's so important regardless of what you're doing. And it's interesting, like I'm just going to use recruitment as an example, or straight up sales, like cold call sales. I've done both, right? I've been in a call room,
mm,
I've been in outside sales, I've been a recruiter doing inbound and outbound, right? I've been in multiple sales roles, and I've been doing this for 11 years of my career. But the first thing I've always done is I create a pitch, which is my Bible for
yeah.
how I'm going to go to market and speak to my prospects. And it doesn't matter if I have done this pitch 50,000 times, you better believe that pitch is right next to me every single conversation that I have, because I want to make sure, okay, am I staying authentic to the foundation that I created in the first place?
Yeah, and it shows a confidence because when you
Yeah.
know what you're talking about,
Hmm.
okay, even doesn't matter, rehearse a little bit. It's normal. Like when we started as well podcast, I didn't remember beginning at all. What we have to say. Just rehearse. It's gonna come to you, and now it's like in your blood. It's running. It's
Yeah.
just normal, and no one expects it to be perfect. So don't beat yourself saying, "Oh, I can't remember X, Y, Z." No, just keep rehearsing, and it's gonna come along, and you're gonna get more confident, and
Yeah.
you get more clear yourself what you want to deliver.
Yes. And okay, so speaking of that, you get more clear on what you want to deliver. I do want to make a note, because
Hmm.
I get individuals, and this is actually another like sub question that we got that I forgot to write down. Should I revisit my brand strategy and update it?
Yes, we just talked about it literally.
Yes, yes and no, right? So there's certain things in your brand strategy that should never ever change, right? Who you are, what your values
Yes.
are, what you're bringing to the world and the community around you, those things should never ever ever change. What will change, what can change, what should change, if you're doing it the right way and you're listening, is your brand will evolve over time, which means
Yes.
that you're now servicing either a different buyer, or that buyer's needs has evolved. So even if it's someone already purchasing from your business, okay, now they need something else. And if you start seeing patterns, now this is time to revisit your brand strategy, your business strategy, your marketing strategy, your go to market strategy, and identify, okay, so our key core buyers, our key core audience, they're still the same from top level, but now we've identified these very
Mm,
specific things that they're focused on. And this is a real opportunity in the market. So we're going to pivot our brand slightly to lean in more to those customers.
yeah.
A
Agree.
growth marketing firm, right? We had Will Davidson on a few
Yes.
weeks ago. They're a fantastic example of this, right? They started out by providing HubSpot and marketing services, and they've seen such a high demand for ABM that
Hmm.
they have shifted their brand strategy and their go-to-market strategy slightly to really focus on solving that problem in the market.
Yes. This I totally agree. When I said yes, it was more also like you also have your, or you're always gonna have your core values,
Yeah.
because they're never gonna change. It's inside you, but
Mhm.
it's completely normal, and actually, it should be like, because nothing is the same. Even 2 years ago, what we were
Yeah.
creating as a, like when we were like I had the strategy. This is probably twisted to left and right. Either you're going new directions a little bit, or new clientels are coming on board. That's why you need to go back and saying, okay, how I can actually shift my focus. Obviously, also making sure that these customers or these new directions are kind of part of my
Mm.
brand, brand strategy. So that's
Yes.
why I think it's good to go back and revisit, because things are changing way too quickly nowadays.
Yeah, yeah, and your brand strategy does involve identifying your ideal customer profile, y'all.
Yeah.
This is a
Exactly.
huge, huge piece to brand strategy, right? A lot of people just originally, because of how it's always been and how things traditionally have been, is people think of brand and they think of pretty pictures colored within the lines and right, like producing pretty things. And that's not what brand is at all. And
No.
y'all, like, to be honest, it's not what marketing is. That is a very small piece of branding, which is the visual representation, your go-to-market representation of the values that you're instilling, of the customers that you're identifying, the problems that you're looking to solve. This is how you communicate it visually. That's what
Yeah.
branding is. And it's gotten so skewed, right? It's interesting. I had a call the other day with my friend Luke, and he is a brand professional within industrial, and
Hmm.
I loved talking to him because I love manufacturing. Manufacturing and industrial brand is so complicated. It's so fun. But that's still one of those old school brick and mortar type industries that they have very old beliefs still and values instilled in the organizations. And the challenge is, okay, how do we bring these old definitions of what you understood at one point in time and bring them to now,
Yeah.
right? Bring them from analog to digital, so to speak, and get you up to speed and understanding, okay, what is brand? What is marketing? What is community building, and how does this really build your brand up to serve your potential audience and increase your
Yeah.
revenue long term?
Absolutely, 100% agree. This is great. I love it. I love it. I love it. It flows so nicely. Okay, I have a next really good question here. So, if your goal is to build your personal brand as a resource in a particular niche, but you also enjoy talking about other topics, what percentage of your content would you dedicate to your niche? Great question.
Eh, so this is a loaded question, y'all. This is a lot up to opinion based on what anyone and their mom could recommend to you. So, even with me telling you, right, take this answer that you ask anyone as a grain of salt to a particular degree. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I say that is because only you know what's best for you, unless you're working with a professional like, myself or Lagla, for example, and we're working on your brand strategy with you and we're building that out. It needs to be what's best for you.
Yes.
My personal suggestion is, as far as like balance, it's obviously really important to target someone or something specifically, but I like the 60-20-20 rule. And what this means to me is that, one, we need to remember we're humans, right? We're all
Yeah.
humans talking to humans. Whether you are a company brand or you're an individual brand, it is a human having a
Yeah.
conversation with a human.
Yeah.
So 60% of the time, I believe that you should be producing content to solve a particular problem for your ideal customer profile, for that individual who is going to eventually purchase from you. So that's 60% of the content. 20% should be in general, right?
Mm-hmm.
Solving problems in business, or maybe your thoughts on leadership, some other area of business, because you don't only want to target your ICP.
Yeah.
You also want to target others outside of that because they could turn into your ICP. They just don't know it. Or they could refer your ICP after hearing something and they're like, oh, now I'm following this person because they talked about something else. And I
Yeah.
see the content that they're producing, and I know someone who this could be a really good solution for. So I'm going to recommend them. Right. So
Yeah.
it's 20%. And then the other 20%, going back to that human to human, like talk about yourself, talk about
Exactly.
like you, who you are, share your personality, people, please.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I also wanted to say 60% focus on what you really passionate, love,
Yeah.
it's in your DNA. It's just strength. You know about it. So go out there, produce content, talk about it, but also be curious, because we
Mm,
shouldn't just be
yeah.
focusing on only our strengths. For me, would be naturally, I want to learn. So I want to explore the other areas as well. So I would, let's say, if there is subject and I'm not really fluent about it, I'm going to go and do research about it, and then I'm going to start to talk about it as well. So because
Yeah.
it's natural, we cannot become experts eventually, or we
Yeah.
cannot know more about it. So just don't leave yourself just obviously, oh, I know this area, I'm going to stick to that. No, be curious and go and see what's out there, and
Yeah.
trust me, you're probably gonna pick up another great, area you can talk about, and then combining it together is like, oof, amazing.
Yeah. No, and it's totally true. I mean, I'll use like my brand, my individual brand as a great example, and I've gotten this question a few times too is do I have to just stick to talking about one thing that I'm passionate about? And me, right? Someone on the outside not understanding who I am, which is why building your
Mm,
personal brand is so important. But someone on the outside might see, okay, she has a skincare line that's dedicated to mental health. She
hmm.
doesn't talk about skincare. She talks about mental health. And then she also has this business and marketing solutions consultancy solving revenue growth problems for brands, right? Individual and company. How do those even go together?
Yeah.
Right? But when you see who I am as a person, because I do share about me, the ways that I think, the ways that I share content, what I'm focused on, who I'm targeting, regardless of what I'm talking about. What I focus on is helping the world around you to be a better place by solving others' problems so that they could do the same for others and creating
Yeah.
that ripple effect. So it doesn't matter if I'm talking about mental health and I'm sharing my story, telling others about my experiences with mental health, how I worked through them, what my skincare line is doing to solve this problem. Or we're talking about Ivory Gold with you and I, solving
Yes.
brand problems and helping them to create really great brand experiences that actually drive revenue. They're both focused on solving problems and helping to create better lives. And that's what I focus on for my brand. So it doesn't
Yeah.
matter what you talk about.
I know, just obviously, me too. I love to get into different conversations. If I'm not really not sure about what I'm talking, maybe I'm a little bit pulling back myself, but otherwise, green light, go.
So I think this next question is a really good one for you because
Bring it on. Bring it
this
on.
is what like you are just like in day to day with clients with is how can companies be more personal and create real relationships with their prospects?
Okay. That's a really good one, because this is actually a challenge at the moment most companies are facing. So
Mhm.
I think number one is like, for the companies is know your clients, either your
Yeah.
clients, first of all, who you're talking to, so know them first, because, and also your prospects, who you're trying to actually target, in the future,
Yeah.
not even now but in the future. So be super clear, and then start to really build that personal message around it and content.
Yeah.
So be authentic, and don't just say, because like we always said, now this is in the past, it was all about the company, company, company. Now it's all about the person who is the other
Yes.
side, and let them kind of lead that conversation as well. Listen to
Mm.
them. I think another one is know your
Listening.
buyer and listen to them,
Listen. Yeah.
do a bit of like social listening, because you're gonna get so much valuable information, because there are so many different groups, obviously
Mhm.
information is spread it around, And if you can go and contribute as a, not just obviously from selling point of view about the brand, but go in as an individual. And I think this is where companies can really use the people who work for them as a
Mm,
personal individual brand
mm.
ambassadors, because
Yes.
it comes really from their point of view rather than the company, because at the end of
Yes.
the day, if these employees or people who work for you are super happy aligned, you're going to create more personal content around it, and they going to spread that message around.
Yeah.
So look after the people who are with you already now, because they will attract, let's say you have 5 very good people, they probably know another 5 people, 5 people, 5 people.
Hmm.
How many people are these, so this is something, it can be super personal, and at the end of the day, if it's not happening straight away, it's going to happen eventually.
Yes.
But
Oh,
your job,
thank you so much for saying that. Oh my
don't panic
gosh.
only, don't panic around it, because very often companies give up. I think very often we actually give up if we don't see straight away that result. But I believe in this content, this actually, we have to really put, like, I love this, give more, and even
Yeah.
give more even if you don't see anything back. And then I believe that's a kind of change or the wave happening where you're gonna see your results, happening. It's getting a bit more
Yeah.
personal. So that's kind of would be like how I see that, that's evolving. What do you
Yeah.
think?
Oh my God. No, I agree with all of that. And just really quick, you guys. Okay. If you ever go to hire someone and they're claiming 1000% results in the first 30 days, like run. That is a red flag. If someone is guaranteeing you any kind of results short term without
Mm,
knowing your business, without knowing your
exactly.
problems, without knowing who you are, what you've been through, having the opportunity to really delve into your historical data and organize it and understand your business strategy and your brand strategy, y'all, if someone guarantees you results,
Hmm.
especially in less than 90 days, you need to run, please, and
I love
rant.
this. This is a challenge for me. I told you, Ashley, this is a challenge for me. I usually, when I'm in the mood and I have time, I challenge them. I very often at the company, when they say to me they're gonna bring me very qualified leads, and you know what happens at the end of the day, they
Like,
probably
what
end
does
up
that
blocking
mean?
me. Well, exactly. They don't even know who is my. They are based in the X country. They don't even know what I'm looking at, who is my lead or anything. They're not even prepared. They just say to me, "I want 20% commission at the end because I'm going to bring you a lead." And I'm saying, "Okay." Well, I'm not going to say no straight away, but I say, if you do in these terms, like this would be more beneficial for us as a business.
Yeah.
And they like, oh my God, there is so much work going into it. We're not really
Yeah.
interested.
Like, hello.
And and you know what happens? They probably end up blocking me anyway afterwards, because they met the challenge, so take them on, like, but I find them really fun because it's a learning curve for me, so when I'm gonna go to the client, I never say, like, for me it's more like it's a relationship. I say, listen, probably
Yeah.
takes us just to 6 months to start to trust each other, in this
Are you going to
journey.
marry someone in the first 30 days? Well, I mean, some people might, but are you going to are you
Mm.
going to marry someone in the first 30 days of you knowing them? Are you going to like meet them for the first time on your first date, even before you meet for your first date? And they're going to say, "I'm going to marry you and give you the best life possible." How do you even know I want to be married to you? Like,
I
right?
know.
Like, how do you know these
This is a brand
things?
promise. This is a brand promise.
Run, people, run. Okay, getting back
That's
to
lovely.
getting
I love
back to
it
the
because
question.
I love this one because it actually relates to the next question we have. How do you encourage my team to create content? And will
Mm,
that be better for my business or for them as an individual? We just covered it, because let them do it.
yeah.
Depends obviously on the business. I mean, some organizations are maybe restricted a little bit, in terms of what we can do, what we can't do.
Hmm.
But most of the time, just let them really roam, So
Yeah.
I remember, can I just bring examples? Things have changed so much. When I worked in corporation, they even banned us. They blocked us to use social media at work, And then if you did touch like a Facebook, you got this email like red light. So obviously these times over. Now they're just saying, oh, can you post the content, having a lunch, how much fun you have at work? This workplace is really pushing, lifting us. So this is completely changed now, but was like my experience before I actually went to be
Oh,
entrepreneur. So it wasn't a long time ago, it's only 3.5 years ago, but it happened. And now I'm saying, obviously there will be areas where you can't always maybe let
yes.
them roamly. That's why you have actually, obviously, just help me out now, this kind of like agenda, what they can't do, but otherwise
Brand
let them.
guidelines and advocacy
Brand guidelines,
programs.
exactly, yes.
Yes.
Because otherwise they obviously, but otherwise let them go, because what happens, they will add so much value through their own eyes,
Mhm.
through their words, and they will align their personal brand with your company brand.
Yes. And I agree with that. I mean, I think that you know, how do you encourage your team in the first place? Be the example. I mean,
Mm,
you cannot force someone to do something. I've been seeing a lot of posts lately about, if I was CMO or if I was a CEO, I would pay my team $10,000 to write content. It's like, okay, if you don't actually understand how that works in the end, that sounds like a really good idea up front. But by bribing someone or even by forcing someone to create content, whether it's on behalf of your brand or not, you're really setting that up for failure because
mm,
it's short term.
yeah,
If you want to think long term about how do I encourage them, it needs to be worked into individual KPIs and goals, right?
that's
If you have the autonomy to create a bonus system for your people, and not every company does, okay? Not every company can do that. But if you're a small business owner, especially if you're an individual, guys, come on. But if you're a small business owner, or if you work for our corporate entity and you have the autonomy to maybe reallocate some of your budget
mm,
to creating these opportunities for your people and creating a bonus system, the way that I would do it is set individual and team KPIs on a quarterly basis and have a piece of their KPI as content creation. And that leaves it as an option, right? It's not something that they're being forced to do, and you simultaneously should have an employee advocacy program, some guidelines set up on if you choose to talk about the brand,
yeah,
these are the things that we prefer for you to say, but you still should not force them to talk about
no,
the brand. Because like you were saying, the beauty of individuals going out into the world of social media, regardless of the platform, and connecting with other humans is that they don't have to talk about your
yeah,
brand, your product, your service. The moment that they go out and they share their own thoughts, DMs start rolling in terms of, "Hey, are you guys hiring? I
hmm,
love that your company lets you
yes.
lets you do this. I want to work there." Right?
I know.
This is an automatic that so many employers don't understand because there's fear behind it. There's so much fear around, well, if my employees talk about what they want, I'm going to lose business. Come on.
No,
That's not the way that it is, because people care about connecting with people.
I know. I can so relate to it, because when you have these annual reviews, and truly hope these have changed format, because honestly, I always felt like I went outside the box, because the value I wanted to add to the company. They said to me, "I'm sorry, this is not part of your role, so
Mm,
stick to your guidelines."
like,
So
ouch.
I know, and it's just like, I think that's why it pushed me even more to be miserable and saying, "Okay, well, they don't
Mm,
see the value I can add to the company and business, because obviously I want to create so much more, but I'm
yeah.
really not allowed. I'm restricted here." I
Yeah.
love it where you can see this is where actually it's a come down to, again, like a good HR leadership, because they can see, okay, this person is really shining in this area, and
Yes.
oh my God, it will add so much value to our company. how we
Yeah.
can actually get this person rather than eventually losing this person. Say to them, listen, why don't you, like, part of your kind of the task or KPI thing as well, we will actually let you roam with this one, and this kind of actually reflect your bonus system maybe, and everything
Hmm.
else, you will get noticed. And I think this is so encouraging and it's so refreshing, and
Yeah.
I really wish it happened like when I was in a corporate world,
I
really.
do too. And going back to that, what I said about fear, I've created like advocacy programs for employees, and of course brand guidelines and those sort of things. But as long as you have those things in place and you have an individual within your organization that's responsible for guiding the individuals on
Yes.
how to do it in general, right? This is how you communicate, this is how you build your network, whatever it may be. I think that it still goes back to the fear of, what if this individual gets more attention than my company,
Oh my
right? And
God.
we did have a question, which was a great question, of, can a personal brand outshine a company brand, and if so, can that be a good or a bad thing?
This comes down now to, really, for
It
me, it's one
depends.
thing. It really depends. Is
It
this
depends.
employee, first of all, happy with you? Do you look
Oh,
after them?
yeah.
I mean, they don't, they either do it from their own really free will because they really love your company, or they do to get attention from someone else in order to maybe probably leave your company. So it could be two ways. Really, it comes down to you. Do you look actually after this employee? Are they happy? Do you actually encourage them to grow? I love it. You know what? Actually, I wanted to mention. I noticed more and more now when people who work for companies produce personal content and it kind of relates to their company, the companies are retweeting it or like sharing it. It's so encouraging. So for me, it shows that they are really proud of their people
And that
and what
goes
they
back
do.
to, how can a brand build a relationship? There is a person behind that social media account, people.
Yes.
Act like a person. If you are responsible for social media at your company, or if you are a social media manager for multiple brands, act as a person. Retweet or repost, give your opinion as a person,
Mm,
not we or anything like that. Like, don't speak as the collective we, speak as I or you, right? That's like a big, big tip in terms of communicating. But you are proud of what you see. So type it as though you are a person
yeah,
representing the brand. And that's like such a great tip. And
that's a
I
good one.
mean,
Yeah.
it really does depend. It depends on your goals, right? If you're a solopreneur or a small business owner and you're the face of your brand, you need to come up with a plan to be able to have both worlds,
Mm,
right? You should have a business strategy, you should have a brand strategy for your business, but you should also have a personal brand strategy so that you can understand, right, how to tie in certain things to your business and produce pipeline. And then also how to create your network and community for other opportunities that might come about based on your personal goals. And if you
yeah.
are an employee at a company, I don't really think that an individual can outshine a brand, but where it does go bad, right? If you're not focused on your company brand, and I hate to bring this up, but it's just like, it's such a good example. If you think about Elon Musk and Tesla,
Mm,
okay? Tesla has like almost zero digital presence, right? They're not really focused on creating content or creating community or anything like that. It's a result of Elon Musk. So in this case, right, Elon Musk is the brand. He outshines all of his
mm,
companies that he owns. And for him, it's a good thing because he doesn't care what happens. I mean, he does care what happens to the companies, but if those companies fail, he knows that, okay, me as an investor and an entrepreneur, if I have a really solid presence, it doesn't matter what brands I create. I know how to
yeah.
get people to follow me and to buy those products because they believe in me and these come from me. I
Yes.
get the whole controversy right now. We're not even going to get into Twitter, but let's just say Twitter has never been
Exactly.
talked about more.
This guy knows, he's a clever guy. So
Yeah.
but I also like, I think at the end of the day it's a positive thing, because very often, let's say if I want to do business with this brand, but I'm not even sure who to reach out there, and if I see there is a person from that brand, from that company, and talking about like different maybe things, and then about brand, I
Yes.
feel more confident as a maybe person to reach out to them first, saying, listen, I really enjoy
Yes.
the content you provide and your business and everything else. This is what I do, or this is who I am, and I would be really interested to kind of take this conversation to the next level. This is a great way to have intro as well, because I see these people
Mhm.
out there producing content, so they are open to have these conversations. So it gives me
Yes.
like a little bit like a green light that they're not blocked, because
Yeah.
very often, like when just a company producing content, I don't even know who to message or who's gonna pick it up.
Exactly.
So
You don't know if they're going to even see
if
it,
there
but
is a
if it's a
face, yeah,
person, it
yes,
creates it makes you approachable, and you're like completely right. And it depends on how you're producing content
yeah,
too, right? If you're positioning yourself in like an authority type of tone, I'm probably not going to reach out to you because I'm not going to expect you to respond to me if you're
yeah.
just talking at people all the time. But if you're actually building community, building network, having conversations, then you become approachable. It becomes more achievable for me to have a real life conversation with you and get what I need from you.
True.
And I think that goes into like, there's different aspects of branding, whether you're a person, right, an individual focusing on your individual brand, or you're a company. There are different aspects of branding, because remember, brand is your story, your values, what you believe in, the problems you're trying to solve, and who you're helping.
Hmm.
Branding is how you execute that message. There are so many types of branding, y'all, from logo creation to website design to graphic design to videos to written content, blogs, emails, books, like this live podcast, a regular traditional podcast, an audio podcast, right? This is all different types of branding, which is just a very small portion of what brand and marketing really does. It's the vehicles that you're using in
Mm.
order to get your message across. We got a question on how would you rank
Different.
different types of branding? And y'all, just goes back to like, it depends. It depends
Yeah.
on who you are as a brand. It depends on what your product or your service is. It depends on what your goal is. It depends on where your customers are. You need to go to where your customers are. You need to give them what they need.
Mm. Yeah, no, I totally agree. I wanted to say as well, for me, probably number one, I always look sort of a little bit more from the buyer's customer's point of view, having that
Mm,
really as a brand, because we all need our like either business to work with or customers or clients. For me, number one is definitely again customer or buyer or prospect clarity. So what is my story to them?
yes.
So that I know first of all who is this person there and what is my story around it, and then I can obviously put my positioning and my values, obviously, what I'm trying to say, my goals, everything else comes afterwards. So just really be very clear about who you're talking to. So
I think bare minimum, I would probably say in terms of like vehicles for branding, if you're a company, you should definitely have a logo, right? Like
mm,
this is like hands down number one. Number two, what if it doesn't matter if you're an individual or if you're a company, I think that you should have a website,
yeah.
because this just further explains your story, your goals, who your audience is, what you're trying to do, how you're helping them. And additionally, I would probably loop in email, right?
Hmm.
It doesn't matter what happens to social media. We'll take Twitter, right? If Twitter shuts down tomorrow, all of your tweets are gone.
Yeah.
But your email list is something that you will keep with you. All of those contacts, the information that comes from your brain, your creativity, what comes from your brand strategy, all of your guidelines, the messaging that you came up with, you could always go back to that email list. And I don't care what people say. Like, I don't think email is ever going to go out of style. It might slightly change if we're like in year 3000 and all of a sudden it's popping up on your phone, like different way. I don't know. But that's one thing that I think that every single brand should have, is some type of email offering.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what a great topic! This has been.
So
As you
good.
understand, it's been already 44 minutes.
I
Actually,
know.
before we starting to wrap up, I have a like. I just saw the Interbrands came out. What do you think, Ashley's top brand at the moment? Number
Huh.
one brand,
Oh gosh, in terms of what?
like the top brand in the world at the moment.
A top brand in the world.
It's not Elon Musk, by the way.
I don't know.
Come on, you know that. You probably use it every day.
Do I?
I,
Starbucks?
no, hold on. No. Maybe you don't use. I don't know. Now I could get confused. No, but you eat it as well. You probably enjoy eating it from time to time.
Bread? Butter? I don't know.
Oh my god, she
I
loves
don't
bread.
know.
She loves carbs.
I
Apple.
do.
Apple is still number one brand. It's been holding position strongly.
Ah.
Microsoft is number two, and Amazon is afterwards. And then it comes Google, Samsung. And what they
Mm.
said, I really loved. I was reading that kind of sum up
Mhm.
into brands, and they said these brands all had, there is like top 100 actually. It's really interesting. I can link as well. And it said what they all had in common was clear vision. I talk about this vision all the time,
Yes.
clarity and direction. They
Yes.
know, basically they know the business, and they're knowing where they're going, with this business.
Yes.
So they are very clear about it, and that's it moving forward. I love number two they brought out was agility. They move fast and bring new products. If something doesn't work, they don't cry over it. They just don't spill
Yes.
over spilled milk, but they just move on and bring something else out.
Let's assess what went right, what went wrong, stop, start, continue, chop it, move on to the next project. I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
The most successful brand campaigns that I've been a part of, and even events that I've been a part of, were okay, let's quickly reassess. Let's have a checklist of what went right, what went wrong, reassess at this key point in time after we launch or we do the event. We'll meet 2 business days later as a team, have this checklist, go through it, and then move on to the next, add it into our
Absolutely.
SOPs, whatever it needs to be. And like, let's move on with our lives and create better things.
Exactly, you don't cry over it too much. And number three was participation, and I love it so much because what they mean, they take the company, buyers, employees, prospects on that journey together. So
Yes.
everybody can participate in that journey, whatever it is. So this is so refreshing, and it's good to see. And I think it doesn't matter, they are top brands, but as a brand as well, like building your own brand, a personal brand, why don't you can't use this? This is a kind of very common thing, and I think this is going to
Mm-hmm.
be trending over years. So just really go out there. Don't be afraid. Like they are saying, they're
Agreed.
testing things. Have a clear vision first of all, what you want. Go there. If something doesn't work, move forward. With something else, and then participation. Make sure you have your audience and you tell that story. Alongside.
Agreed. And if you're looking for help with that, you're looking to assess your products, your services, your strategies, the things that you've been doing, maybe they don't work for you anymore, or you don't know what is not working, or in general, you're looking for ways to expand or realign your business for better brand experiences, for increased revenue growth, for long-term success. DM us,
Mhm.
message us, you can email us. We both have links in our profiles to schedule a free discovery call with us. I also share free 15-minute chats if for, any questions that you have. I have my own personal link that I'll be sure to add in. Send us questions. I would rather you ask the question and us somehow give you direction than you sit and never ask anything at all, right?
Yeah.
Like if you don't ask, the answer is always no, and that doesn't help you grow. But if these are things that you're looking to implement or just strategize, get better at, please contact us and we'll let you know, right? Yes, we can help with that, or no, we can't, but we recommend a partner of ours to be able to help that would be a
Exactly.
better fit for you, either financially or personality wise or service wise, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
So please reach out to us with any questions that you have. We would love to hear your questions. So please just, whatever you need to let us know. And if you are an individual or a brand who has really found success in something that you're doing for yourself, your company, your clients, we would love for you to be a guest on our show to share that with us. We're really here to help build this community of entrepreneurs and
Mm.
individuals that want to level up the experience that they have and turn it into long term growth and revenue. contact us. Let's help each other. Even if you have some advice, we'd love to turn it into an episode. Tell
Yes.
us what you want to hear about.
I think they figured out we love to talk, obviously, because it's literally 49 minutes we've been talking.
But we're answering your questions, guys.
Exactly. This has been, honestly, it's been so much fun because I really love that these questions are genuine questions happens every day we are
Yeah.
struggling with, or we just don't know the answers. So hopefully you got some, little bit, advice and guidance from here. And if not, just shoot us DMs.
Yeah. And again, we're going to be breaking up this episode into bite sizes. We're going to be producing other individual pieces of content on our LinkedIn profiles, on our TikTok accounts. So be sure to follow us. It's our first name, last name, brand growth, both of us on TikTok. Okay. So it's
Perfect.
Ashley Pirela brand growth or Lagala Moik brand growth on TikTok, or you can, follow along in our LinkedIn profiles. But we are going to be breaking down this episode into individual pieces of content so that you can find whatever it is that was most important to you.
Yeah, I better go and do my TikTok dance now because I haven't
I
done it.
All right,
think dance is-
everyone. Well, thank you so much for sticking with us for 50 minutes. We really wanted to be sure to get to your questions.
Yes.
Probably next time we'll break this out into a couple of episodes, but we're going to continue to do this because we've listened to you and we've heard that this is the information that you value, and this is what we're going to focus on more for you
Yeah.
to make
Thank
you
you.
and your brands better.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. And thank you, Ashley. It was so much fun. So I really enjoyed it. Hopefully everyone enjoyed this session on Wednesday, and you can go and have amazing afternoon now.
Yes. All right. Bye, everyone. Have a good week.
Bye.